Hi, welcome to a new video. And today I'm going to tell you something very interesting. For last, I would say, for quite some time, we are listening, like there are so many news floating around us, which is related to one very interesting sector. It's not pharmaceutical, but somewhere it is around very close to pharmaceutical. What is that? CDMO and CRDMO. So question is, what is CDMO, where and what is CRDMO? What is this sector is all about? What they do, what the companies do in this particular sector, how they are closely related to pharmaceutical. And the biggest question roams around, that is uh, how India is going to be benefited in this particular sector. So that would be our point of discussion today. Hi, this is Anik Mitra. I'm a SEBI registered research analyst part-time, having my registration number NH 0000238180. And I have a disclaimer that I do not have any buy sell hold recommendation through this particular video. The video is made absolutely for academic purpose only. Let's begin. Let's come back to our topic, CDMO and CRD. The topic, the terminology. There is one terminology before I would say CDMO and CRDMO. Let me tell you, CRDMO is combination of two different verticals, two different type of companies. One is CRO, another one is CDMO. So altogether it is called CRDMO. What is CRO? CRO is Contract Research Organization. And who are CDMO? CDMO is Contract Development and Manufacturing Organizations. How they differ? That is our key point of discussion today. Uh, Firstly, we need to understand the backdrop of all of these companies. Where is the necessity of these companies uh, come for pharmaceutical industry? Let me explain you that in pharmaceutical sector, whenever a company does drug discovery, you know that pharmaceutical companies are related to manufacturing drugs. Some are into generic medicines, some are developing new medicines, means patented medicines, what I refer to. So there you need to understand that there is like whenever a company innovates a new molecule, then it is basically that is the discovery, right? That is the discovery of a new molecule. So that discovery is very important. And this part, like this discovery, once a company discovers one particular molecule, it does not mean that it can hit the market immediately. There are so many processes in between. It's not so easy. There is uh, like once the drug is discovered, afterwards there are lots of tasting phase, right? So in the process of discovery, there are some tests happened called in vitro and in vivo test, which are preclinical in nature. And afterwards, uh, like post this, clinical trial starts taking place. Right? What are the difference? Now let's say a company, what company does, what pharmaceutical company does, they identify a problem. Let's say there is a, like they identify a disease, they target a disease. Let's say a company is targeting small cell cancers. Okay. Small cell cancer, uh, like medicine for small cell cancer. So what they do, they will start like finding out lots of experiments and whatever the process involved to find out a medicine which can be effective for that particular drug, right? They will do lots of in vitro, in vivo test. In vivo test, what I mean to say, like uh, there are lots of chemical tests in the chemical lab. It will happen in their pharmaceutical or chemical lab. It will happen. Afterwards, what they will do, they will infuse the impact of that particular molecule on certain animal, maybe on guinea pig. So ये जो process है, this process, up to this, it is preclinical research. Like when the desired result is obtained, afterwards the company becomes ready with the molecule. That molecule is ready for clinical trial. Will not go for direct launch. It will go for clinical trial. Now testing will happen on human beings. I hope you understand. Now testing will happen on human beings. There are phases. In the clinical trial, there are phases: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And then it goes, like when it passes through all the phases are nothing but where uh, number of peoples are involved. Like it is firstly applied on a very small number of volunteer. Afterwards, it is applied on relatively larger universe. Afterwards, it is applied on even a big universe. So this phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and once it gets green signal, passes through one by one, from phase 1 to phase 2, phase 2 to phase 3, and when it passes through all the phases, then it goes for clinic regulatory approval. Okay. Regulatory filing is done, and once regulatory filing is done and approval comes from the regulator, then the market, the product is market ready, right? There are post-marketing surveillances also. I'm not getting into that. But my motive is to understand CRO and CDMO companies. Now, the CRO companies, the contract research organizations role comes here. What they do? They basically, like in this particular process, as I referred, like preclinical discovery to preclinical. Here, the role of CRO companies come. Okay. What they do? Basically, CRO companies are, we can say, they are integral part of drug discovery services. Means they are closely working with the pharmaceutical companies. Let's say a biotech company discovers one, क्या बोलता है, discovers and develop a new drug before human clinical trial, as I said. Instead of maintaining, I'm referring to the pharmaceutical company. Instead of maintaining a separate dedicated lab for entire process, the infrastructure for performing the entire process, the company can outsource, because everyone has their own expertise, right? The company may not have that expertise also. For that, you need to set up a separate facility. You need to separate dedicated lab. You need scientists. So many processes are involved in between. So that it's not only the matter of expenses, it's the matter of, lots of involvement, right? And especially the expertise. So this part can be outsourced, right, by the pharmaceutical company, and that discovery part is done under the guidance or under the guideline of the pharmaceutical company. This is done in the contract research organizations house, right? Now, researcher identifies a space. I'm referring to what exactly they do. Let's say researcher identifies okay, let's come back. First, the company targets one particular disease. As I said, small cell cancer. So what could be the causes? The cause of many such diseases are certain category of protein. Let's say kinase. Kinase is a protein who aggravate that tumor or that small cell cancer, whatever it is. That aggravate, that particular kinase, the protein is responsible for the problem, for that particular disease, for that particular tumor. So if we can block that particular kinase, that particular protein, then that cell, small cell cancer or the tumor, whatever is the target, that will not spread. Because for many disease like cancer, it spreads quite fast. So the first target remains to cut the supply chain so that spreading gets arrested. The disease gets arrested within a small zone. So treatment will be easier and it will be even good for the health of the patient as well, right? So firstly, that protein is identified who is responsible for that particular disease, that particular tumor. Let's say in this particular case, kindness. Now, what the researcher does, researcher identifies certain type of material or molecule which can block the kindness. Right? That is the rule of the researcher. Now, that can be anything which like the researcher runs hundreds of molecules testing and they finally get the finally identify a few cases which can have better result. Like there are lots of AI related process involved these days which can give you lots of solutions as well, but this is done at the CRO's end often if the company does not do it by itself. Now this here that particular molecule, let's say, gets attached or gets like makes the reaction with that particular target protein. Let's say in this particular case kinase. If it reacts with that particular kinase, what will happen? The property of the chemical will be changed, right? Property of that particular protein will be changed. Like hydrogen has a different property. Once hydrogen gets combined with oxygen, it becomes water, H2O, right? But water does not have the similar property like hydrogen, or let's say hydrogen does not hold the same property in water, right? So naturally, in this particular case also, it will not be easier to transfer. Like once the kinase gets attached with certain other or makes certain bonding with certain other chemical, then its property, kinase property to aggravate that particular small cell cancer or the tumor will no more be there, right? So this is the target of the CRO companies, their researchers to perform the task, right? So CRO companies, as I said, are the integrated part of the research of the drug discovery process, right? But once the product becomes like till preclinical research, whatever is needed, they do it. Once it is done, then the company comes out. Means their responsibility is over. Here comes one important point. It is called biological assay development. It is nothing but creating some, I would say, testing system to measure the impact of a particular molecule on the environment or on the body or on the patient, right? So whether means the does the molecule bind with the target, that is one. Next, could be does it kill the cancer cell finally, or it can be means it one could happen. One medicine could stop aggravating the disease. One medicine could in fact attack the cancer cell and kill it. Okay, so whatever it will be targeted by this in the process, like in this process biological assay development, it is read or it is studied the impact. Okay, does it reduce inflammation? Is it toxic for normal cells? Maybe some cells around good means healthy cells around the affected cell gets means by the or the disease cell may get affected. So that could be another area of obviously that becomes one another area. So whatever it is, so these are the entire process which is ran and monitored and read by the company, maybe the CRO companies, in the process of this clinical means preclinical trial. So whatever the report they prepare from that, whatever study they do, they hand it over to the company and their role is CRO company's role is. But now it goes for the clinical trial. Now Here comes CDMO companies. CDMO companies' role starts here, means companies who are contract development and manufacturing organization. Okay, how they start participating here? That let's say imagine a biotech company who has discovered a cancer drug, right? Who has discovered a cancer drug. Uh, but the problem is they do not have that particular company does not have scientists to optimize the manufacturing process. They have means they have scientists to develop the molecule, to identify the molecule which can uh, eradicate the disease. But they this scientist obviously does not know what is the process of manufacturing that particular uh, technology, that particular molecule. So, and also they may not have required facilities as well. Here comes the role of the CDMO companies. What CDMO companies does, CDMO companies helps the actual biotech company or the pharmaceutical company to prepare the drug and optimize that particular drug. What I mean to say by optimizing the drug means whatever the molecule is this has been discovered by the pharmaceutical or biotech company. Now that drug uh, will go for clinical trial. So firstly, whatever the quantity, obviously clinical trial requires small quantity. So that quantity or small quantity product means molecule is prepared by the CDMO companies, whatever is required for the drug developer company for their clinical trials. So whatever is required there, and it's not that only the entire output of the, or let's say the impact of the clinical trial has been recorded by this CDMO companies. So they supply the molecule and they also discover the best process to manufacture that particular molecule. It's not only the best process, the most economic and the best process to manufacture that particular molecule. It is done, right? Now what will happen? Now everything is okay. It gets all through. Now the biggest part is it will go for regulatory approval. So making the, because the drug discovery company must not have the regulatory expertise, right? The CDMO companies have. Okay, so they might have some division to check the like to make the data ready or all the reports ready for submission for the regulatory approval. So I hope I could convey you what is the role of the CRO and what is the role of the CDMO. Now the question is, what is the opportunity? Why we are speaking about the opportunity? India is going to be a big beneficiary of the of this scenario. So how will it happen? See, China is the big player in the US and globally, I would say they are the very big player. Uh, Now the problem is we all know that how reliable China is in terms of their data, in terms of patent infringement and reliability of data. So, considering that it's not only our opinion, it's the global opinion. What I am saying, that is global opinion. So everyone knows the how loyal China is in terms of I would say intellectual property, like honoring intellectual property and patent. So all of us know. I need not to speak anything extra. So obviously, companies start relying less on China and started looking for another one partner who will honor, uh, like as discovery is involved here. Obviously, companies will prefer to maintain secrecy. Information should be kept confidential, right? So that is where India's role comes into play. India is very loyal, very like absolutely perfect for honoring IPs, honoring patents, right? So here that confidential information remains confidential with India, and here is the play. Now, a few days back, within last 1 month, one company called Wuxi, I don't know how we should pronounce it, WUXI, Wuxi, one Chinese company, that company holds around 70% of the US market share, right? That company holds around 70% of US market share, and US itself is a very big one. And their size, that company's size, is almost double to enter India's CDMO, CRDMO space. Hope I could convey you. So obviously that was the big threat. But recently, in the last 1 month, what happened? This company has not been blocked in US, but this company has been identified as one of the Chinese military's close allies, and that is why US has not blocked it, but US becomes alert. And US becomes alert means what US is doing, US is firstly decoupling this particular means decoupling all the works with this particular company Uzi. Okay, so not like government projects will firstly go away, and gradually other companies also will uh, take away their business from Uzi. So that is an opportunity, obviously, for it. So we need to understand how India could take this opportunity. Obviously, some government intervention also can play a very crucial role here. Uh, there are lots of companies, but those companies, most of the companies are not a dedicated player. They have a very small contribution of the revenue. One company I would like to name here, that is Sai Life Sciences, but please don't consider it as any recommendation. Sai Life Sciences, I never studied this company, Sai Life Sciences, but I know this company is a pure play. There may be many other pure plays as well. We need to make a deep dive to understand who will be the ultimate beneficiary. But yes, the opportunity size is very big, and that is coming in front of us, and we need to specifically judge uh, how well poised Indian companies are, how different Indian companies are placed themselves to take this particular opportunity. Right? That's it in this particular video. We'll see you in the very next video once again, and please don't forget to subscribe the channel for getting this type of informative ideas and inputs. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.